Hey, how you doing? I'm Adam Post, publisher of College of the Dead, publisher of more than 1,000 independent comic books, and right now College of the Dead graduation day is actually looking pretty fantastic. We're all the way up to $19,300 with 16 days left on this campaign. I have to tell you, we are doing about 500% better, 5 times more business than the first campaign, and it just goes to show you sequels work, and it also works when you ship the first one. Then people know, hey, this guy's going to probably ship another one. Seems cool to me. So today's video is about Kickstarter, and I saw a video from your boy Zach and heard Ethan talking about it last night, Ethan Van Sciver, and I thought, you know what, this is interesting. Let me do a little research on this and see what I might come up with. So this is coming from Entrepreneur. Oh, by the way, definitely subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications. You're always helping Adam Post when you're doing that. And what better thing could you do in the world? So Kickstarter's live project count is down 35% from last year. 35% is an enormous number. So any business, look, restaurants are closed right now. Movie theaters are closed right now. Their business is down 100%. But Kickstarter is an online business that's supposed to have organic growth. You know, they attract new people to Kickstarter as buyers and project creators all the time. So there's absolutely no way they should have had this amount of new projects collapsing. Particularly because there are so many people who are very capable people, even people who know Kickstarter because they've been customers of Kickstarter, that with all of this downtime that people have, because most people are not working right now, like what, 80%, 90% of people are not working right now, why would the project count not be up? Does it make any sense? It doesn't seem to, you know, because really, why would people not do crowdfunded projects now when they have all this extra free time? I mean, my project's up 500%. That's not everybody's situation. But I don't know. You know, a lot of people are doing very well. So as you have people who are doing well, I don't know why they don't have, you know, an increase of 50% in their current projects. It doesn't make sense. So we'll take a look. And it says here, layoffs are planned as crowdfunding takes a serious blow. But is it crowdfunding or is it Kickstarter? I think it's more Kickstarter than it's crowdfunding. It says crowdfunding is taking a serious hit due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Like, well, that's, you know, kind of an why would they assess those two things together? Kickstarter's internal memo from the CEO obtained by The Verge indicates that new projects have dropped by 35% year over year with no clear sign of rebound. The steep drop has led the companies discussing, to the company discussing potential layoffs with the Kickstarter employee union. Kickstarter employee union? What Kickstarter employee union? Well, yeah, this is bizarre. You know, it's still a startup. I mean, they were founded in 2007, but it's still a tech startup. What are they doing with an employee union? It's an SJW thing. So supposedly they're working with the union and finding ways to cut expenses, including cutting pay for management, capping new hires, and being selective when filling newly vacant positions. Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, if projects are off by 35%, so they must have a lot of downtime because they have an operation like this, a business like this, usually has excess capacity, even if they're running at, like, you know, some small amount of extra growth. so that they're prepared, so that they're able to service all the new business. So these guys, if they've lost 35% of their projects, they're probably down, 50% of their capacity. Kind of like a printing press doesn't run 24/7. A printing press runs at a printing plant, probably 30 to 35% of the time. So this would be now, additional idle workers, like up to an extreme amount. I would venture a guess that, all of these working from home Kickstarter employees at this point are probably, working maybe 10% or 15% of the day. Just doing the math. The CEO acknowledged that employees were shouldering some part of the uncertainty and vowed to get through the situation thoughtfully and transparently to ease concerns as much as possible. Now, that isn't baloney. I mean, hopefully he does do that. That's about communication. That's about letting people know what's going on, saying, hey, we've got problems. And that part, I will say, hey, if he carries through on it, that's very good. You want to communicate to your people, look, guys, this is what's going on. We need suggestions. We need help. And if we can't improve, you have to understand there could be layoffs. So that's a responsible way to communicate. I have another business. I have a telemarketing business, and we've laid off no one. We've just kind of changed the way that we do our work, and we accommodated. We adapted, and we actually have more work than we can do as usual per now. So getting back to this, the goal was to ensure Kickstarter was supporting creators and others for the years ahead, not just during lockdowns. Okay, they asked Kickstarter for comment. What the comment they're going to get is probably nothing. So, the company says they've been making an effort to foster projects, including a program for small made-at-home creations. Like, well, how about an Etsy kind of thing? Why not? How about letting people set up storefronts on Kickstarter, you big dummies? Why don't you coordinate that? Encourage people to make a regular business and give them tools to make a regular business. Like eBay has done. Not everything eBay has done is perfect, but a lot of people, they've gone from selling individual items on eBay to setting up eBay stores and having a regular business relationship with eBay. Why Kickstarter hasn't done that is just because Hasan is probably a lousy CEO. Sorry. Because you have to evolve your business model over time. Otherwise, you ain't got no business. However, its situation underscores the challenges crowdfunding faces while, the pandemic remains an issue. Many projects can't be finished remotely, and those that can may have trouble getting backers due to higher unemployment. Yeah. In the meantime, I'm doing 500% of what I was doing before. I launched this right before things started getting crazy with the health event. And Ethan Van Sciver has done Cyberfrog Wreck Planet, which is outfunding his prior campaign for Cyberfrog. So, and your boy Zach is doing phenomenal. So the thing of it is you can blame it on the virus all you want, but the reality is that's not what's going on. That's got to be some of it, I'm sure, because not everybody is probably doing more business now than they were last year in crowdfunding projects. But everybody who's got a plan, everybody who works hard, everyone who promotes, maybe it's that their general traffic on these crowdfunding sites is slower, and people like Ethan and your boy Zach and myself and other Comicsgate people, we're out promoting our work on YouTube constantly and communicating and entertaining our potential customers. And, maybe lazy people that just throw their projects on Kickstarter or Indiegogo and don't go out and promote them aren't doing so well. Todd McFarlane's doing fine, but he's got tremendous publicity attached to his name and a lot of people doing stories on him. I also think it's interesting to look at Kickstarter's funding, because another article on this subject, and no need to hunt it up, but another article on this, the CEO is talking about how they made $1.7 million after tax last year, and they've already reinvested that in the business. $1.7 million after tax for a tech company is equivalent to zero. They have 100 employees. With 100 employees, I don't know what their payroll is, but I assure you, it's a lot. It's plenty. It's got to be better than $15 million a year. Something substantial. So with that kind of a payroll, a plus or minus $1.7 million doesn't make a damn bit of difference. Their issue is they're going to have to go raise some money. Now, Kickstarter back in the day was funded by a venture capital company. This is going to Crunchbase. This is a cool resource. This has statistics on a lot of Silicon Valley startups, or internet company, fancy schmancy company startups, and their funding rounds. Kickstarter was founded in 2007, and they raised how much money? Bing, bang, boom. They raised $10 million. That's actually not that much money, for this kind of a business, and for especially to handle 100 employees. So maybe they had some additional private financing. That's always possible, but these things are usually reported, and Crunchbase does a good job of keeping track of this. Alternatively, Indiegogo started a year later, 2008. They actually raised a bunch more money. I didn't know that till I researched this for this story. They did 6 funding rounds. So you start off with a venture capital round, and that's usually like the most risk for the most return. And it's just enough to kind of get a company going. And then when the company has a longer term plan and they want to raise more funds, they go back again and they go back again. So this has 6 rounds. Supposedly Kickstarter had just that one round. And if they're operating on this original $10 million, that's pretty good. It's not bad. Now Indiegogo has raised $56.5 million collectively through 6 rounds of investment. So that's pretty good. And one of their key investors is Richard Branson. He's an interesting character, Richard Branson. Let's put it that way. Interesting character, owner of the Virgin brand and all the Virgin companies. And Kickstarter, their famous investor is Jack Dorsey from Twitter. More SJW than Richard Branson, that's for sure. Now, I thought another interesting statistic on Kickstarter is, look at this, their mobile app. So in the last 30 days, and these statistics come from a company called Apptopia, their mobile app had 176,282 downloads, but monthly download growth is negative 18.23%. So it means major drop off, lots of lack of interest in Kickstarter and Kickstarter projects. I don't have the Kickstarter app on my phone. Do you? If you do, delete it. What do you need it for? So yeah, it looks like Kickstarter is in some trouble. It looks like they're going to have to raise some money, and that's why they're talking about layoffs like this. Because otherwise, if they had cash on hand, they would just say, hey, you know what, the hell with it. We'll ride this out for another year or so. When you're talking about layoffs like this at a tech company, that's not a good sign. It means they're in trouble, and it means they're going to have to do some kind of fire sale fundraising. So I would expect to see a fundraising for Kickstarter to keep them afloat over the next, it's soon. Like, they're going to need this cash soon to keep up with their payroll, especially because they're trapped into dealing with a union. They're really like a highly leveraged small startup company still. 100 employees is not a lot of employees. And for them to have to be laying people off and trying to brag about 1.7 million in profit, if they accounted for all of their early losses, they're still way behind, guarantee. They're still way behind, even with their highest years, the money that was put up to raise this thing. But it's an internet company, so does it still have some value? It has some value, but they have to figure out how to operate and how much cash they're going to need to function, and how much cash they need extra to burn while they figure out how to turn this into a real business. That's my take. Indiegogo seems to be in much better shape. You don't see any big articles about Indiegogo laying off employees. They have this $56 million, so they seem like they're pretty prepared to do business. Maybe not. Maybe we'll see another article in a couple of days and they'll have problems. But so far, we've heard only good things about Indiegogo, and they take great care of us. I highly recommend Indiegogo. Go ahead and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. I will see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.